G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Aussie Tech Heads. It's episode 547 for the week 17th of August 2017. How you doing? We're brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. All your hosting needs, pretty much one click install WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. It's all there for you. So go and grab it. SSL certificates, domain registrations and more. We've got a big show for you tonight, hopefully. But before we get there, don't forget the AussieTechRadio.com. If you want to listen to back-to-back, wall-to-wall podcasts from Australia and New Zealand, just go to your TuneIn Radio app, which is cross-platform. Download that and search for the Aussie Tech Radio. You can like us on facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads and subscribe to us on youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Don't forget the AussieTechHeads.com.au/paper comes out twice a day, and it's got text, not just text stories, it's got news and whatever else on there. And the webpage, you can go check that out at AussieTechHeads.com.au/podcast. Now, this week, it's just me, and for 1 week only, we have Shane. Do you remember Shane? Hi, Shane. How you doing?
Hey, Glenn, how are we?
Yeah, good, thanks. What's been going on with you? It's been ages. We're just trying to work out when you were last on, and you were dangling something like 2012, which I can't believe.
Nah, I think it would have been 2014 because I've been living in this house since the end of 2014. I know I did a few shows before one sort of change of employment happened.
Right.
So I reckon it would have been probably 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, okay. So let's just bring us up to speed. So you haven't been able to do the show because you did get a job about an hour's drive away. Is that right?
Yeah, that's still the case.
And it's still the same job?
Yep.
That's still the same thing? Yeah, good stuff. Now, for those of you who haven't heard Shane before, he's in Perth, and that's why you go, an hour's drive. What a pussy. But no, he's in Perth, and by the time we record, he can't get home fast enough. So I know he's tried. He tried talking to us on the phone, hanging out the car. Didn't work, though. So, yeah, that's good. So everything going well in Western Australia? New Premier and all this sort of stuff? It's going gangbusters.
Yeah, no, things going well. Yeah, I mean, obviously, they have we have the sort of regular whinge about not getting enough GST or the enough got to kick back from the GST and the boom's over and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
and the sun keeps coming up every day, and we keep motoring on.
Well, that's the main thing. That is the main thing. Yeah. So look, we've got a few stories to get through tonight. This week. There's probably not too much Australia news I noticed, but we've got a couple. I found a couple, so we'll get to those a bit later on. Now, I was going to read an email this week, but I don't have to because it was from Shane, and he's here. And was it an email or more of a remark? I think it was last week I mentioned about backing up to your Google Drive.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
I wonder what you were talking about then.
Yes, no, it wasn't one of those love emails that I normally get. It was, but what I agree, you said, I think I said you can't have versioning on the Google Drive, and you wrote in and said apparently you can to some extent. And I think you are correct. I did go and have a look, and yes, you can get versioning to some extent, but as far as a proper versioning backup solution, I probably wouldn't rely on it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I mean, having said that, I've got a NAS now, and I do snapshots on that, so that's probably my backup per se. And then I've also got Google Drive where those kind of go up to.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Now tell me, let me just prod you more about your NAS, because I think my little virtual machine here that I've been using as a server is slowly but surely dying. Things are starting to get, it's taking a while to copy across and stuff, and I've got to make a decision pretty quickly what I'm going to do before it all goes to custard. But so you've got your NAS. Is it in any sort of RAID array, or is it just a straight hard drives and you just back it up to third party? Or how have you got yours set up?
I went through a couple of different kind of incarnations of NASs. I did FreeNAS, I did RAID, did a couple of other things because I really wanted to use my old PC. Kind of just having it sitting there doing nothing. I even did pfSense and used it as a router for a while. But now I don't know, this is too hard, so I went and bought a QNAP.
Right.
As far as I know, the dedicated NASs, you've got either QNAP or Synology. The
Yes.
one I ended up getting was I'm just looking at it now. It's the TS453A.
Oh,
I've got
that's the first one that came up on the Google. That's worth heaps.
Yeah, they put the price up just as I was sort of contemplating getting it and all that kind of stuff, and I was getting stuffed around by one of the retailers over here, and found another one that was actually treating me better. I paid at least another $400 on top of that price. So,
Right. So we've got it here on the website from some place for those on who are on audio. Landmark Computers, wherever they may be. They may be in Melbourne for $689 for this little baby, the QNAP TS453A.
yeah,
Four
that is.
G. What does that mean? You slip a little SIM in it.
No, no, that's only 4 gig. That's actually the
Oh, 4 gig.
why it's cheaper. Yeah, mine's got 8 gig of RAM. It's got the same 4 bays in it. I've got 3 terabyte hard drives in mine. Yeah, I've got 3 terabyte hard drives. I've got it connected up to a switch, so I'm actually using all four of the network cards, and I've got my network is kind of segregated. So I've got my Internet of Things stuff in one bit. I've got cameras in another subnet. I've got my subnet, and then I've got the rest of the people that live in the house. They've got their own kind of part of the network.
Well, it sounds like you know what you're doing. That's good.
Yeah, I've picked up a couple of things over 20 odd years.
Now, what sort of hard drive you got in this little baby?
I've got 4 3 terabyte Western Reds.
Right. So, can these things like take the 3 terabyte drives and beyond?
Yeah, I would imagine they have some sort of upper limit. I only went for the 3 terabytes for mainly pricing. Really, I didn't want to pay, huge amounts of dollars. I wanted to kind of keep it below the price of a real machine.
Now, why did you decide to go for a dedicated standalone type NAS, if that's what you want to call them, rather than stick with your free NAS and utilize that spare PC? Was it think too much mucking around, just wanted something to sit in the corner and behave itself?
Yeah, bit of that, bit of too much mucking around. Power. I just wanted something that was, didn't suck up too much juice. Noise. The NAS is next to, you can barely hear it. Whereas with the PC going, because it had, because it was an i7, it powered up like a jet engine every time you turned it on.
Right, yeah, right. Now, what else was I going to say? So, with your backup solution, what happens there? How does it back up?
So what happens is I take snapshots every day, and then I also do just normal thinking with the G drive. What else happens?
So, when you say take snapshots, where do you snapshot it to?
Just another part of the hard drive array.
Right, right. And so does that mean that, so when you stick in, say, what do you got, say 8 terabytes of space, so how does that back itself up? Does that mean that you only got 4 terabytes usable because it has to back itself up on the other four?
Potentially. I don't have a lot of stuff on there at the moment. The plan was for either me to be doing either this show or another show of my own and backing up the audio and the video and that.
Right.
I've got 4 cameras, but I've only got one set up at the moment. So the plan was to have the 4 cameras set up and have them saving to the NAS as well.
Right.
And then my just normal kind of stuff, but none of that's kind of happening. I haven't got the other cameras set up because of the other people in the house. Obviously a bit funny about having cameras on all the time while they're walking around.
Oh, fair enough. And I can see, I just Googled up a photo here. This one here has got a little remote control. What would that be for? Has yours got a remote?
Yeah, it does, because you can use it as a Plex server and install other apps and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, okay. So I might have to look into one of those myself. Because, I'm just trying to figure out, because I know I haven't got long. I think this other machine's going to die. And, obviously everything's on it. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. But talking about routers and switches and so forth, there was an interesting story this week about Aussie businesses targeted in spate of router attacks. I don't know if you came across this one, but It's no good. It's no good. And if you listen to the Aussie Tech Security, Roger always goes on about, if you want to get the best router possible, get a Cisco made in the US, so it's all nice and kosher, so to speak, or wired up rightly, and there's no little back doors. Well, no Chinese back doors anyway. But our attackers are targeting Australian organisations with routers and switches exposed to the internet to steal configuration files and infiltrate their networks. Now, this is a warning from the Australian Cybersecurity Centre. Now, they've also said it had identified a threat to switches with the Cisco Smart Install feature turned on, and routers or switches with Simple Network Management Protocol, or SNMP, enabled and exposed to the internet. It said attackers were extracting configuration files in order to retrieve admin credentials and compromise the router or switch and potentially other devices on the network. And this is what they're after, isn't it? The Smart Install, if you're wondering what that is used by admins to give a switch minimal configuration that is fetched from a central repository, but organisations can become vulnerable when the feature remains turned on after the device is live. So Smart Install has been replaced in newer systems by Cisco's Network Plug and Play feature. So the security, who were they? The Australian Cyber Security Centre has said that the Cisco Smart Install feature should be disabled unless it's strictly required, and if you have been affected by the attack, you're urged to report the incident. So, any familiarity with anything like that, Shane, in your line of work, or everything seems...
I don't work with the networking equipment to that extent, but I believe that we would use something similar to that where I work. The only difference being is all our branches are connected up via VPNs, dedicated VPNs, so they're not exposed directly to the internet. Where they come in handy for us is our sites are being migrated from ADSL to NBN.
Right.
And occasionally the NBN have kind of just gone out there without letting us know and just switched it over.
Right.
So consequently, some of our sites were just kind of falling off the network, and we'd have to send someone out there and then manually kind of change things over. So now we're using, I don't know if it's the same thing, but now our network guys have got it sorted. So when that happens, we can just switch it over to the NBN connection remotely.
Right. Oh, that's pretty handy. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So look, if I don't know if anyone, it's probably not really people at home, but maybe in a small home office, may have one of those switches. And if you do have a Cisco something or other, probably best to look up the manual and see if it's got that feature in it and if it's turned on or off. But if you can get more information, obviously, from this report, and then link through to wherever you need to go about this story, you can find the link to in the show notes this week at the aussietechheads.com.au/podcast, and find your way to the show notes. Now, you mentioned NBN, so I don't think last time we spoke you had NBN.
I just cut over to it. I think I did a couple of shows when I was on the NBN.
So are you, what NBN have you got?
I have got the proper one. I have got fibre to the house.
Right. So you probably wouldn't be having these dropouts that a lot of people are getting?
No, I don't. But having said that, and I still don't know whether it's my phone or I don't think it's my router, because I've actually changed that, although I have actually stuck with the same manufacturer, or it's my NBN. But my phone, and it seems to be isolated to Saturdays, which is
right. That's weird.
Yeah, and that's the kind of time that I use it the most, because it's a Saturday, what else have you say? But my phone connects to my Wi-Fi network all right, but it just doesn't always connect to the internet.
Right.
And like I'll have to fix it. I restart my router and it's fine. But every other Wi-Fi device and every other directly cable connected device during that same time period is rock solid. I constantly get on Wi-Fi devices, I usually get sort of anywhere from around 85 down, 35 up, and anything connected via a cable, I usually get 95 down and about 35 up.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I was speaking to someone this morning. He does video production, and he was up in Labrador, and got talking about the internet, and I said, "Oh, you've got onto backups and all this sort of stuff," and he goes, "Yeah, I can't really back up." He says a typical file or project it might be about 500 gig, and he said at best my internet uploads at 0.32 or something. I went, oh my god! So that's no good. That's like ADSL 1, isn't it? Really, that's rubbish. But yeah, so we're still waiting here in sunny Rabina. We're still waiting for the NBN, but at least we got cable. Now, Microsoft agrees to change Windows 10 update after Kaspersky antitrust battle. Now, I think we mentioned something like this last week or a couple of weeks ago or whatever, that a lot of the antivirus vendors aren't happy that Microsoft, I don't know, they've tightened things up and not allowing the third parties to do certain things like say flash up their logo or say that their service is expiring or whatever, and even down to things like I think Kaspersky was one of the main ones where when you updated to Windows 10, it just wiped it off. So hopefully that's not happening too much now because everyone should be onto Windows 10. But the two companies, Microsoft and Kaspersky, announced in independent blog posts this week that Microsoft has agreed to make changes to the Windows 10 Fall Creators Edition to satisfy allegations by Kaspersky and the others. Now, Microsoft would make changes to its upcoming update to include giving third-party AV vendors earlier access and visibility into upcoming feature updates to ready their software, enable them to use their own alerts and notifications for expired or expiring products, and providing more persistent notifications for users renewing, rather than just defaulting back to the Windows Defender, which I don't think is too bad, but I don't know. Download a free something else. The changes come months after allegations from Kaspersky over antitrust violations from Microsoft and the antivirus market. So this Kaspersky started all this hoo-ha in June over the issue, arguing that Microsoft didn't give it enough time to make its software compatible with Windows 10. And that's probably a general complaint about Microsoft, is that there's not enough time for third parties to ready themselves for like major updates like Windows 10. And I think also, wasn't it, I'm not sure, there's a while ago now, I think that Microsoft was even holding back or not releasing the SDKs for the shop or other parts of the Windows, until the day of like public launch, and everyone's just going, well, how can we develop for that? So there's been issues about that around for a while. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. Like, I don't know. Any problems with that one, Shane?
I know. Is this the one where for a while there, Windows Defender or whatever it's called was actually treating those particular antiviruses actually as viruses, and they were kind of
it might have been.
Same one?
I don't know. It possibly might have been. It says here where it mentions Defender. It said, and providing more persistence notifications for users to renew their antivirus solution before it defaults. Yeah, so that doesn't mention that. That was just saying that, they wanted more warnings before it expired, and then it would probably just disable and go back to Windows Defender. But, look, you possibly could be right.
Well, I mean, what I do know is
they've dodgy, got...
I know that they've got, like, the Insider program where you... And I think they call it I think it's called the Insider program still. You basically get earlier versions of Windows 10 or earlier updates before they get released to the general public. Yeah. Now, I don't know whether that gives you the ability to, if you're a developer, to actually get access to the SDK and so on and so forth. But they now have, they're now kind of guaranteeing biannually or every, like 6 monthly updates. Like we've just had the creators update a couple of months ago. Then I think they've now got I think they're having another creators update either this month or next month.
Yeah, the fall creators update.
Exactly, and then they've got something called Redstone 3. Now I don't know whether that's the fall creators update that they're talking about, or that's another update further down the track.
Now you're going to have a talk with Microsoft next month.
I am.
I hear.
I cannot wait. They did a couple of days ago. It's the Microsoft Ignite conference. It's an annual conference, bigger than Ben-Hur apparently. They've got, I think it's 1,000 sessions, online online downloads.
1,000 sessions.
Yeah, it goes
That's
for 5
huge.
days.
But 1,000.
I would imagine, yeah, but I guess most of them are available for like on demand. There's workshops. There's there's the sessions that I'm sort of lined up to, even if
Mm.
you're there for 5 days, because obviously you can't be in multiple places at once.
No.
Each session goes for roughly about an hour and a half. You're only going to get in probably 4 a day, and it's only 5 days, so that's 20 sessions.
Mm.
But they've got it all worked out in like different kind of themes. So there's like the security track, there's developers, there's desktop support, there's Windows 10 stuff, there's mobility stuff. Paul Thurrott, who does Windows Weekly, he's doing I don't know if it's a daily thing, but he's definitely doing at least one kind of session / it might even be a podcast. It goes for about an hour first thing in the morning.
Right. So,
I've signed up for that one.
Yeah, so this is, look at this, limited passes remaining. Registered. Hey?
Aren't you going to be there around about the same time?
Yes, but I'll miss that because I'm going to go to Orlando first half of September. And I won't be there for the second half. But, yeah, nearly. It was nearly a tax deduction.
Yeah. I think no. So I'm doing San Fran for a couple of days, then I'm doing the Microsoft thing. I'm in Orlando for like 2 weeks, and then I'm going back to San Fran for a couple of days. So I'm doing. I'm going to go visit Leo.
Oh yeah, yep.
On the way over and on the way back, doing the Microsoft thing. One of the things that Microsoft are doing is they've actually hired out the Universal Studios theme parks. And there's 2 theme parks over there.
Yes.
Thursday night they're chucking a party for everyone's going. So
how good's that?
It's gonna be huge. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah. How are you getting around? How are you getting to? I don't know, from LA to San Francisco and so forth.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm going from Perth to Hong Kong to San Fran.
Right.
There's a 6-hour stopover in Hong Kong.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm staying in a particular hotel in San Fran for a couple of days. I've booked things like the bus tour where you get hop on, hop off. I'm going to an NFL game. What else am I doing? I'm doing like I said, the Leo thing.
Yep.
Doing a tour of the harbour.
Nice.
There. In addition to the conference in Orlando, I was going to obviously buy tickets to do the theme parks, but I probably won't have to now that the Microsoft are a party over there.
On. That's right. Are you driving around or are you bussing, training?
No, I'm going to do flights over. With the conference, it's all kind of taken care of shuttle-wise. Plus, I've got a hotel pretty close to the conference anyway.
Right.
As far
Sounds
as
good.
The San Fran thing goes, I'll probably catch Ubers or Lyfts to see what it's like to
hitchhike, whatever.
Yeah, hang your leg out.
Shave it first. Now, moving on to more important things. Nothing much more important than going overseas, is it? But more, I don't know, something else. Aussie domain registrars sued over fake invoice scam. Now, this has been going on for a while, and I think even Michael from the Aussie Mac Zone, he wrote a little story up and pasted on Apple News or whatever he posts on. I have to get that link and I'll let you all know about it. But he was having a go about this, and this is exactly what he received as well. And it's what looks like it is an invoice, but it looks like a domain renewal. So it's sort of coming across as a domain renewal slip invoice, but it's actually not a renewal. It's an invoice to register new domains, but are very, very close to your existing domain. So, and people obviously fall for it. And so now they're in trouble. So 2 Australian domain name registration companies are being taken to court by the competition watchdog, which would be ASIC, for an alleged fake invoice scam that reaped $2.3 million from their customers. So that's a lot of domain names. $2.3 million. Domain Name Corp and Domain Name Agency, both managed by the same director, are alleged to have sent out 300,000 unsolicited notices to businesses that were designed to look like renewal notices for domain names. So that's pretty dodgy. The ACCC claims that notices were actually for the blah blah. I said that. The ACCC is seeking declarations, injunctions, pecuniary penalties, corrective advertising, and disqualifying orders against the director. He's stuffed, as well as costs. He's cooked. More than 14,500 people suffered a combined loss of more than $650,000 to false billing scams last year. So the registration of these domains from this invoice cost between $249 and $275. So they were a rip-off in themselves.
You know what people need to do to avoid this sort of stuff? They need to go to a reputable company like ATH Web Hosting.
Exactly.
Problem.
Exactly. And, I get email. I do get emails. And I get one probably once a month or something saying, we've got this renewal form. Is this you or is this someone else? I just go, mine's always going to have the logo on it. And just ask me if you have a problem. And it's not going to be $200, is it? I think what do I charge about? .coms are $20, and they're charging $249. Crazy stuff. But anyway, that's the go. That's looks like that's been dealt with. So hopefully, if that comes to pass, that they'll try and get the money back. And I don't know what happens. Do they give the money back to the people? Let's hope so. You had a couple of stories, Shane, didn't you? What did you want to chat about?
Where do I want to go first? I'm scrolling through the show notes. Let's go to the one that's at the top of my list. Australian Damien kpii. I guess that's going to be pronounced kpii. Yippee. Chok earns around $1 million in e-sport tournament. Apparently this is bigger than Ben-Hur in the States and in Asia and Europe. It's like ESPN kind of cover it.
It's
right. Huge.
What is it?
I will tell you. Sydney Damien kpii Chok has fallen just short of winning the richest tournament in esports history. The team won nearly $5 million Australian dollars, second prize, which will see him take home around $1 million in a reasonable consolation prize for coming second. The crowd-funded $30 million Australian prize pool was at the richest esports tournament in history, which saw 18 best Dota 2 teams. I've heard of the game, but wouldn't know it from if I fell over it. Teams in the world travelled to Seattle to battle it out in a 5-on-5 fantasy battle game. So they said that there was like 18 teams. Even if you came 7th or 8th, if you came 8th, you would still get. Actually, no, there's more. If you came 18th, you still get $61,000. So even if you came last,
wow,
$61,000.
Well, how would you get a gig then? Like everyone would be signing up. Do you have to go through? Just have to go through some qualifier or something, or you're invited maybe.
I would imagine it's either via invite, or they may do the same sort of thing like they do with sport. You might have like your national kind of competition, and then the winner of that gets to go to this big, huge international thing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, look, here's a picture of the rock stars. There they go, touching hands in the crowd. Just like Elvis.
Well, they're actually treated like rock stars. And funny you should mention the Elvis thing, because it's the anniversary of his death today too.
Is it today or yesterday?
No, it was yesterday. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, sorry, yesterday.
Yeah, this week anyway. The 16th. Yeah, so I'm going to go over to the King's house later next month. I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah. We'll do it offline, but we'll have to kind of, compare notes and dates and sort of, maps and all that kind of stuff to see if we actually do kind of cross paths.
Yeah, I don't think so, but yeah, we'll have a chat. Now, what else have we got here going on here? Game of Thrones. Does a week go past without a Game of Thrones leak story? I don't know. Are they doing this on purpose just to get people?
Say that. I think it's their own publicity bloody
probably. But this time it wasn't actually a hack. It was just an accidental leak. So the source of the leak was not hackers or thieves, but rather the show being mistakenly released on its broadcaster streaming platform too early. The episode titled "Death is the Enemy" that's the enemy to everyone, isn't it? Has since been withdrawn, but not before it was copied. Of course.
It doesn't take people long, does it? I mean, the thing's only out there for 5 minutes and people find it.
Yeah, it's like, with tweets, they go, oh, such and such tweeted something, but then quickly deleted it, but they show it. You think, obviously they record everything, like streams, mustn't they? They just must record them somehow. A spokesman for HBO blamed an unnamed contractor, surprisingly, for the most recent blunder. Like, the unnamed contractor gets a lot of heat these days, don't they? What happened? Oh, it was an unnamed, that was that contractor. I don't know his name. We'll blame him.
Ex-contractor.
Yes. Yes. But I don't know, you're in the Game of Thrones from memory. Is that right?
No, I have never seen it.
Okay.
I've watched bits and pieces here and there. If anything, if I was going to watch it, I'd probably watch it for the low costume budget that they seem to have.
Right. I know you've watched more than me. I haven't really watched it. Not that I don't want to watch it, but I don't know. Apparently it's too gory for other people in this house to watch. But anyway, I'll watch Neighbours instead. Now, look, I won't do that story because you've got that one as well. But look, you think Apple, this is how easy $3 billion just falls into Apple's lap. Global asset management firm Bernstein stated that it believes Google will pay Apple $3 billion this year to remain as a default search engine option for iOS devices. So every iPhone or iPad sold will be set to Google for search unless you change it. Now, the payment Google makes to Apple is it is pure profit. Well, almost, it says here, almost pure profit. Well, what it takes, someone's got to get paid to make the phone call and open the letter with a check in it. Okay, yeah, almost pure profit. Google alone may account for 5% of Apple's total operating profits this year and may account for 25% of the total company's growth over the last 2 years. It's insane, isn't it? But I guess, that's just how badly they want their search to be default. I don't know what else they would use. I don't know, Bing? I have no idea.
Really, I suppose.
What do you think of Bing, seeing that you're a bit of a Microsoft head? Do you use Bing?
I use it kind of by accident. At work, our main kind of browser is Internet Explorer. And I don't usually bother changing the search engine because I don't usually do searches for anything that hard to find, and Bing usually finds it. At home, where I'm doing probably searching for more unique stuff, I use.
Yeah, well, I found that I don't know. You can do the same search in Bing and do the same search in Google, and Google will just always give you a better result. I don't know why. It just does. So, yeah, I'm a fan of Google. But, you start looking at what's been going on with Google recently. And, I've always been of the viewpoint that, companies can do what they like because they're private companies. But I don't know. I might be changing that with when you see things like, people getting sacked for just writing memos or something, it doesn't agree with, say, the boss's political agenda. And you think, well, is this... Yeah, should a company be growing so big that they say force their thoughts onto everyone else and the way of thinking? But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, Google on the iPhone search, yeah, good. Otherwise, I'd change it. So for the moment, I like it. But yeah, so I will change that. That Microsoft Internet Explorer's search engine straight away. Even with customers where I'll reinstall Windows or whatever, that's just one of the things I do. Just as a matter of course, I just go and change it to Google instead of Bing. But Bing's got a better video search, I've found, than Google. For some reason, if you're ever looking for a video or searching for a video, Google will just list one video per line, say down the left-hand side, but Bing will give you a grid, and it gives you more on one screen, so it's a little bit better for that.
No, it's a better layout, but are they better results or is it just displayed better?
On Bing,
Yeah.
well, I would have to say better results because they are displayed better.
Okay.
Because there's more of them, like on the one screen.
Yep.
So you can sort of, that's a grid. It's an array of video thumbnail things. So you can see more. Whereas Google, you're like, you get, I don't know, 20 a page or something. And then Bing, you get 20 in the first 2 lines, I think, something like that. But how easy is that money though to Apple? Like $3 billion just for going, we'll have Google on all iPhones. But that's how the browsers make their money. Firefox, the Google want to be up in there, so they pay Mozilla or whatever to be the default search engine and so forth. Yeah. But talking about money and easy money, I think you got another story about someone giving money away.
Yeah, your segues have improved over the years.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Right, yes, I have. So Bill Gates,
Yeah.
he's got a spare lot of cash floating around doing nothing.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, he's 61. I can't believe he's that old.
Yes. So how old was he, say, when would Windows come out? That was about 80, say. So that'd be, what's that, 10, 20, 30 years ago? So he was pretty young.
Yeah.
He was a little pimply-faced little dude from memory.
Yeah, true.
I'll see if I can get a picture up. Young Bill Gates. And let's have a look at him. But yeah, he was there's one there by the look of it. Oh, he had the here we go. He had the good glasses on. There we go. Yeah.
Really changed. I think his head's kind of grown into the glasses.
Same hairstyle.
Yeah.
bit more hair.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, I'll carry on with the story. The 61-year-old Microsoft co-founder has just made a somewhat mysterious $5.88 billion donation to a yet-to-be-revealed recipient. That equates to about 5% of his immense wealth. The Microsoft co-founder has reduced his stock in the computer software company from 24% in '96 to just 1.3% today. Nonetheless, he is still thought to have one of the biggest fortunes in the world, be it around $115 billion. In a 2013 interview, Bill Gates said his children would each be left with about $1 billion each. The rest, about 95% of his wealth, will go to charity over the next 20 years after he and his wife pass away. And then the story that I found goes on to talk about his work with the World Health Organization. Yeah,
well, good luck to him. That's good. Like, I don't think your kids need more than $1 billion, so why not give it away? Good luck to him. He's been pretty significant in the eradication of polio. I think I think one of his main objectives was to see the end of polio in the world, and I think between him and Rotary, I think they've pretty much done it. I think there might be one small pocket or something in Pakistan or somewhere where there's still a bit of it going around. But yeah, so I just wanted to pick up on what you said there. His share in Microsoft is 1.3%. But this can't be right, can it? So if his share is 1.3%, but he's still one of the richest men in the world, that's a big 1.3%.
Yeah, well, Microsoft's probably worth it.
Yeah, but surely there's other people with, I don't know, so 1.3%, that's a lot of money. The second largest donation made this year was by Warren Buffett, who donated almost $3.2 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And the third biggest came from Michael Dell, from Dell Computer Corporation, and his wife Susan. In May, they gave more than $1 billion to their foundation, which focuses on children's issues and community initiatives. So, Bill's always said he was not going to leave $100 billion to his kids.
No.
And I think from all reports, I think everyone's growing up pretty normal in that household, which is good.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess you can't take the money with you when you cark it, so you got to do something with it beforehand.
Yeah, well, that's right. But I think he was not like he wasn't spoiling the kids. He wasn't saying, "Oh, yeah, have a 50 billion trust fund or something like that." I think they kept it all pretty low key. But
But and when you're a multi-billionaire,
yeah, wouldn't it be nice just to be? Do you think you would be bored if you had that much money? Like, do you think you would ever get bored, or like, well, how would you be if you had 100 billion, like 1 billion even? You
I'd
wouldn't have to work again.
I'd
Like,
be okay with testing out your theory.
yeah, I'll be happy with 100,000. Easy. Now, that's this story here. This is from China, but cray cray. A teenager sent to internet addiction camp has died. Only after spending 48 hours there. Now, the BBC reports that these boot camps for internet and gaming addictions have become popular in China. Why not? Why not just turn the power off to the dude or unplug the router or something? My God, send them to boot camps. Who are these people? With some being criticised as using harsh military-style discipline on attendees. Oh, a bit crazy. Some even, how's this? Some even beat patients or use electroshock therapy. The 18-year-old died earlier this month in Fuyang, had been sent to a camp that promised psychological counselling and physical training. 2 days after the teen was dropped off by his mother, on August 30, he was rushed to the hospital where he died. His parents said that the doctors told them their son's body had sustained more than 20 external injuries and that he had also suffered internal injuries. My son's body was completely covered with scars from top to toe, his mother told the media. His cause of death is not known yet, but the director and 4 teachers of the centre have been held by police and the centre is shut down as investigation continues. Have you ever heard such a crazy story? That's
No,
wild.
no, yeah, that's over the top. But I mean, given who we're talking about and the country that we're talking about, it at the same time it doesn't kind of surprise me.
No, but like, why would these camps exist? Like, wouldn't you just, if you had the wherewithal about you to say that you're okay, young fella, you're spending too much time on the internet, you're addicted to it, wouldn't you just smash the router or something? Not pay your bill, get it cut off?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do. Well, I guess it depends on how much experience you got. I mean, what I do is obviously I have like time kind of restraints set up in the router, so only certain people can go on at certain times, that
You
kind of
still
thing.
doing that? I remember you doing that from years ago. You still doing
Yeah,
that?
I don't do it at the moment, because of all the stuff around that I was doing with the different routers and PFSense and all that kind of stuff, and I thought, no, it's just this is too hard. And so you've got that. If you know what you're doing, you can kind of do that sort of stuff.
Mm.
Is I mean, we've got similar things over here in Australia. Even it's not necessarily just dedicated to video addiction or video game addiction. I mean, we've got them where it's more if the teenager is just behaving badly and the parents are at their wits end and they don't know what else to do.
Mm.
They send them to these. I don't know if they're actually camps per se, but they send them to these organisations where usually the kid comes out on the other side kind of better for it.
It's one of these help me parent my child camps.
Yeah.
Like, just do it yourself. Just, just take the phone off them. But I suppose maybe in defence of doing that, this particular person was 18. That probably, he might have been a big boy or whatever. Probably bash his mum if she said anything. So, but then again, then she got him to go to the camp, so he couldn't have been too bad. But yeah, that's just terrible, isn't it? That's just crazy. Yes. So you got another little story here as well about Amazon. What's going
I
on?
do.
What's going on with them?
Yeah, well, now that Amazon are actually coming to Australia, I heard on, I don't know if it was on your podcast or one of the others, but they've actually bought a warehouse in Melbourne somewhere in Dandenong or one of those.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so anyway, on the back of that, new research shows that most Aussie shoppers spend far more online than they do in bricks and mortar stores. Only 21% of us spend more in physical stores than online stores. So that basically means that 70 odd percent spend more the other way around. Although Aussies are purchasing more online, 64% of the respondents to this survey have returned online purchases. This figure is higher than those in their 20s at 74%, compared with 57% of those over 50. Yet the return process is the number one complaint or headache that online shoppers sort of have, that when you get something, what happens if it doesn't fit, if it's broken, that kind of stuff.
I think that's where PayPal's pretty good, isn't it? If you purchase through PayPal, they pretty much guarantee the your purchase. I think you can send it back if you're not happy, and I guess because PayPal controls the moolah, that they just go, well, send the item back and you'll get your money back. No worries. Because I remember I bought something from China. It was some little Cody device. And it didn't work. It kept freezing, and I wanted to send it back. And old mates over in China said, no, we're not having that back. Your problem, sucked in. So I did a dispute through PayPal, and they said, well, okay, send it back and you'll get your money back. So I was happy with that. But yeah, like, I don't know. Why wouldn't you want to spend money online? Easy. Get it delivered to your door.
I was so resistant to, I guess, obviously me working in IT, I kind of pay more attention to the security type stuff. I mean, out of the podcasts that are available and all that kind of stuff, probably the top couple that I listen to would be Security Now on Twitch. I listen to your security thing every time it comes out.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yeah, no, Roger.
Do we interest you? You hold your attention?
Yeah, I managed to get to like the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, Roger knows what he's talking about. He's really he's switched on. He does these little conferences all around Australia. He's you got to ask him the right questions, but he's switched on. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to do any podcast really, because you got to work out who your audience is. Do you do what you guys do and kind of keep it at the basic level for your kind of people that are just getting into doing the home kind of small office kind of thing, or do you go the other end and do your Steve Gibson thing where every second episode you've kind of got to put your propeller cap on and really concentrate?
Well, I think Roger, because we had discussed that, and we were discussing should the topics start getting more involved as time goes on, but he was more of the opinion, no, it's just repetition of the basics, and that's what a lot of people just don't get, are the basics. And especially when he talks to a lot of CEOs and everything, and they say to him, oh, that's not my problem, but ultimately the buck stops with them and it is their problem. But, they go, oh, I've got a tech guy that does that. Oh, he looks after all that. Not my problem. Talk to him. But no, that's not right. So I guess Roger wants to try and aim it to that sort of a person and the home sort of person as well. But yeah, there's so many different aspects of the security. Like, he goes over the passwords, the backups, whatever else he wants. The WannaCry viruses and all the ransomwares and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, and every now and then you'll get a little nugget of really good juicy info from him. You think, beauty, I'll use that little bit of software myself, thanks. So Amazon, getting back to that, look, I don't know, bricks and mortar, I wouldn't buy TVs online, I don't think. I was nearly going to do the Kogan experience, but I instead didn't, and I did the Audi experience, as you would know, and that didn't work out, so I took that TV back. Yeah. There's certain things you can't buy online, electronics, like TV. Some things you just have to see them, don't you? You have to actually visually see them. I don't know how you go on with clothes. I've never really bought clothes online. Like, what happens if they don't fit you?
Yeah, that'd be...
Yeah, so I don't know what... You just have to look in the return policies, I guess. But yeah, no, it looks like Amazon's, kicking goals. I don't know much about it because I think it's only just recently happened and I haven't read too much about it. But I think also, I think Trump's come out and said he wasn't happy with Amazon because they're taking away a lot of the, say, bricks and mortar jobs. I'm not sure how he's going to stop it, stop him from doing it, but yeah, I guess that's it. They would be. So maybe all these bricks and mortar jobs, maybe they're going to have to move into Amazon's warehouses or something, the janitors or something.
Yeah, exactly. The two things about this sort of what we were just talking about doing online stuff and all that kind of thing. The only thing that I've just in the last couple of weeks started doing again, kind of slow to the game, is using Android Pay on my phone.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient and all that kind of stuff, and touch wood, haven't had any problems so far. The main reason why I started doing that is obviously for the trip coming up. I didn't want to kind of have to, use cards and all that kind of hoo-ha.
But so when you say that you're going to use the Android Pay,
yeah,
how is that? So like, because when I'm going to go over there, I've got this traveller's card that you get from the bank. So you actually take over with you like a card that you can use in the ATMs that has got US dollars on it. Apparently that's a better way to do it rather than getting there and having to pay in have Australian dollars transferred at that particular point in time.
Yeah, I think what you've done, and we've done this in previous trips. You can lock in the whatever the exchange rate is.
Right. Yes.
Last time we went was in 2013. I think the exchange rate was like $1.20 or something.
Yeah, how good was it back then?
Yeah, now it's like it hovers between sort of 75 and 80. So if I was to do that, I could get one of the. And I think I actually have got one. And you can actually lock the exchange rate in. So if between now and when you go away, if the bottom falls out of the dollar, you'd be okay.
In.
But no one actually, to my knowledge, less and less people go to the trouble of actually converting money anymore. They just kind of just use their card or whatever and pay whatever the
right
fee is at the time. I mean, even at the moment, like when I buy stuff online, or even when way back when I did those interviews, we bought the wine for the Twit family.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, it's just you buy something online and then you get like a couple of dollar fee, international fee or something.
Yeah. Well, that's that silly. I've been going off about this before. So you get slugged for the conversion fee, like the built-in transaction fees with the exchange rate fee. But then you also on your statement you get this nice little 1% fee. You go, oh, it's nice, isn't it? And that can add up. But there are credit cards around, which I actually, and I went and sought out because I was sick to death of that little 1% fee. And I went and got a little, I got it right here, a little debit card. It's a debit MasterCard from Macquarie Bank. And jumped through the hoops and got the little debit card, and that doesn't have the 1% fee. So, happy with that.
I haven't checked it out. I've just heard on the grapevine that's one of the benefits of using either Apple Pay or Google Pay is that they absorb that 1% fee.
Right. But how do you get cash out when you're overseas?
Well, yeah, you can't because it's actually tied to the credit card side. So one of the cards that I've actually set up on Google Pay is actually a card that does both access my savings account as well as my credit. But that's one of the limitations is that it actually, when you use either Google or Apple's Pay thing, it's only associated with the credit side of the card. So
what you could do is, why wouldn't you be able to get, say, these traveller's cards that you can get from the banks and whatever, and you just load them up with a currency? Why? And they're a MasterCard, because the one I got from the NAB, they're free, and you just put in, 3,000 Aussie will give you, or 4,000 Aussie give you 3,000 US. So you put that on, and then when you're overseas, you can put that's a credit card, so you can pay at the restaurant, you can put in the machine, in the ATM, you can do whatever. But why couldn't you then put that card onto your Google Pay, and then do the same thing?
The only card that I've had problems with, because where we work, we've got like a setup where we've got a, what do they call it, salary sacrifice. So a certain percentage of my wage goes on another card that's tax exempt, and the idea is you use that first to buy stuff,
Right.
and you get all that kind of tax free because it comes out of your wage before before tax.
But how do your salaries? What are your salaries sacrificing?
Well, whatever you buy off that card. So because
Jeez.
because you haven't paid tax on it as through your income,
Yeah.
you're not losing tax on. It's not like you get a tax exemption on the sales tax or the GST.
No, I know what you mean. So, but who picks up the tab? Your company. Is that the fringe? Then they get slugged fringe benefits tax. Someone's got to pay the tax.
Yeah, because the place I work at is a not for profit, so
Oh,
I guess
okay.
some sort of tax exemptions for
Maybe.
that.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
but the card doesn't actually. The card wouldn't let me set it up in Google Pay. I sent him an email a couple of days ago saying, "Am I doing something wrong, or is it because of the type of card it is?" Because I can't. What can I do? I can buy purchases and I can pay. I can buy stuff and I can pay bills and all that kind of thing. I can't transfer money from it. I can't take money out of it. Anything that's kind of cash related, I can't. With it. Even like with a normal, as you probably know, with a normal credit card, you can still take cash out of it.
Yeah. Well, that must be a condition of the salary sacrifice, maybe, that you can't just pull the cash out of it, because otherwise, you'd be getting a tax benefit that no one else gets, which you probably still are anyway. By the sounds of it. But what are you doing about your mobile phone when you go over there?
I think what I'll do is, and I think I did this last time, is I won't have the international roaming happen. I will just get Skype credits because everywhere pretty much is Wi-Fi, so I can just make Skype calls. No one. I mean, if someone really wants to ring me, I could. I'm thinking about either getting a Skype number as well and just diverting my mobile number to that Skype number.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Or alternatively, I mean, we've got a setup now where we've got an app on our phone where our how I kind of manage to work from home today is that the when I get a phone call, it rings on my desk phone, it rings on through the mobile app, and it rings through the app on my computer or wherever I happen to be logged into.
Right.
Now that, in theory, I can make calls using that as well, and it's not a regular phone call, so it doesn't go on my mobile bill. It just goes as part of the kind of arrangement we have for our phone system at work.
Right. Okay. So, because I know I was talking to Eric through the week, and I said, "Oh, what did he do when he went over last time?" He said he would recommend you just go and get like a Vodafone account and just do $5 a day roaming.
Yeah,
you do. And then he said that when you sit down and think about it, because see, when I go over, I'm probably don't really care about phone calls as such. I'm more interested in your data, because like I'm going to have my laptop, I'm still going to have to do some work, So I just want the data that's there. So yeah, so maybe $5 a day. That might not be a bad idea with that Vodafone. They're kicking some goals there, aren't they? They got a few good plans and a few good things coming out. I saw another one there. What was it? No, they're only going to offer SIM only plans or something. So no more, get the phone and the plan, because I think that's a rip off, which it is. So they're just going to say, I think you'll be able to lease the phone from them. So what that would mean would be then you just say the phone's going to cost you $1,000. Divide that by 12, and that's how much you pay per month. None of this other convoluted hidden charges and hidden fees and bumping up the network access cost while you think you're getting a low phone repayment, then another little phone payment, $10 credit a month here, and all this. So apparently they're streamlining, and it's going to be interesting to see what the others do with that. So yeah, keep it there. Vodafone's kicking goals. Yeah. Who are you with now?
Telstra still.
Yeah. So my contract, thank goodness, finishes next month. I don't think they'll be keeping me. I think I'm gone. Yeah.
I jumped ship off of because I was getting staff discount for a while after I'd left there, and so with my internet, I'm with SkyMe.
Oh, that's right. You had a sweet little $10 a month deal, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, told them a number of times.
And they caught up with you then?
No, I actually ended up jumping ship because when I bought the Google Pixel, best part of a year ago now, it worked out cheaper, pretty much. Yeah, cheaper if I went on the $50 plan,
Right.
$50 a month for the phone, and it gives me 10 gig or something. Whereas on the staff plan, it was $10 a month. But then I was only getting 1 gig or something. Yeah, 1 gig of data, and I kept going over that and getting plugged $10 each time. So I was still paying an extra, probably every month I was paying an extra $30 anyway.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Whatever works. You got to do what you got to do. So that sounds good.
Yeah.
So there's heaps of plans. I not plans I'm going to look at, but I'm just SIM only. So I think Aldi have got some good ones. I think you go to Kogan, they got phones now coming out of their yin yang, and whatever. So as you can probably tell, we are at the end of the show. We ran out of stories. That's it. As I said, it was a bit of a slow story week this week, as you would sometimes get. I think what the Apple launch or next Apple thing must be coming out soon, next month sometime. So yeah, we'll wait with bated breath the iPhone 8. Can't wait. Yeah, right. I'm over the iPhone as well. So what else is going on? Yep, so you're going overseas. Good stuff. Microsoft Ignite. That's next month in Orlando, towards the end of the month. So yeah, have fun, Shane. Have fun.
I plan to experience every aspect of the American culture.
Yep, good. Cheap booze and the whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've picked an exciting time to go over there, given what's happening over there at the moment.
Yeah, we don't get in any trouble.
No, absolutely not. No, I plan on making it, really clear that I am completely neutral. I might even wear my old Australian jacket, sort of say, look, I'm not even American, I'm an Australian, leave me alone.
I don't think it's that bad. I think what you see on the TV is just like, just one frame of a camera, and it's just it's not that bad. But yeah, no, it's all right. So that's good. It should be a lot of fun. So all right, what else have I got to tell you guys before we go? Nothing much. I think I've said everything. You can email if you got a question. You can email me, glenn@aussietechheads.com.au, or if you want to email Shane, I think Shane with a Y at aussietechheads.com.au still works. I haven't done anything with it. I don't think it's been disconnected, has it? I think you asked me that not long ago, if it had been disconnected.
Yeah, I wanted to use the address for something.
I think it still worked.
Yeah.
Probably something. Yeah. Now you can do that. And yeah, whatever. Eric, Will, or Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au. So the other boys, I don't know. The other boys, Warlock's still a bit crook, so he had a week off to recover. And Will, he's working, and young child, and Eric, way too busy, aren't you, Eric? Way too busy. So just as well Shane was around. All right, good stuff. Well, good to see you again, Shane, and maybe catch up again. Maybe soon, or maybe even after you go to the US and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah, I might be able to do something while we're over there. I mean, if we're both going to be kind of in similar time zones, were you thinking of maybe even doing a show while you were over there?
Oh, I suppose I could do something. But I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I'll have a chat to you after the show.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys, that's the end of another great show. All right. So until next week, which will be nearly the end of August. Until then, go the Sharkies, and see you then. Bye bye. See you, Shane.
See ya.